Hello everyone, this is 𝗗𝐸 and today I'll be talking about questions that can be solved within 30 seconds. So as you know, on the SAT you have around 70 to 80 seconds for solving each question, right? So for each question, if you have 70 to 80 seconds, but when you go to the claim questions, you go to the inference question, you go to the cross-text connection questions or other difficult questions that have more reading to it, right? You will see that, it is difficult to solve these questions in 70, 80 seconds or even 90 seconds, right? So you need more time for that. So how should you get more time? Because, the time for the SAT, overall SAT is fixed, right? So how would you get that extra time? Now you can only do that when you have a few questions which you can, solve in less than 70 seconds or less than 60 seconds. So that time that you will save in those questions, right, you can use that time on these difficult questions. So today in this video I'll be discussing 3 question types. There are a few others as well. In this video I'll be discussing 3 question types that you can solve under 30 seconds, right? And I put a timer as well so that you guys can see how you can do that, right? So if you solve these 3 question types under 30 seconds, if you for example have 10 questions for it, so if you solve them under 30 seconds, you will save 30 seconds or 40 seconds for each of these questions, right? So those 300 or the 400 seconds you can divide equally on the remaining questions that want more time, right? So if you give 30 seconds maybe to each of the reading questions extra, that will give you that space where you can easily complete it, solve it, and get it right as well. So that is how we have to move strategically, right? So let's I think now move on to the questions and see how we can do that. So the first question type that I have for you that I think we can all solve under 30 seconds is the vocab or words in context question, right? And it's right there towards the start of the paper. It is there in craft and structure, and we have almost 15% of the entire reading and writing section that is made up of it, right? So that is how you have to go about it. So if you read it, so this question, for painter Jacob Lawrence, being blank was an important part of the artistic process because he was paid close attention to all the details of his Harlem neighborhood. Lawrence's artwork captured nuances in the beauty and vitality of the black experience during the Harlem Renaissance and the Great Migration. Which choice completes the text with the most logical and precise word or phrase? This is a word in context question. So because he was given close attention, so it has to be, he cannot be skeptical, he cannot be critical, confident, he has to be what? He has to be observant. So observant over here will be the right answer. So as you saw, we can solve these questions under 30 seconds. You just have to see what's going on, because you have enough information in the question that can take you to the answer. So 30 seconds is more than enough for solving even this was a relatively lengthy vocab question. So if you have these vocab questions, you can solve these questions easily in 30 seconds, right? Now the next question type that I have for you guys is the standard English convention. So there are many other topics that you have. There are many topics that you have for standard English convention. I'll be discussing only one over here just to show you guys that we can take it and we can solve it in 30 seconds, right? So let's look at the question. It says, Wanda 𝗗𝐸 is an astrophysicist who lost her sight when she was young. 𝗗𝐸's condition inspired her to develop software that can translate scientific data into sound. Sound-based tools blank scientists to detect subtle patterns in the data. Such patterns may not be evident in traditional graphs. Which choice completes the text so that it conforms to the conventions of standard English, right? So if you talk about this, if you look at the options, you have a singular one and you have a plural one as well. So it looks like a subject of agreement question. And because you're talking about sound-based tools, it has to be plural. And the word that is plural will never have an S at the end. So it has to be answer B. So just like you saw, we solved it under 30 seconds. So you have to solve these questions under 30 seconds, and it's very possible, right? You just have to know the conventions. If you know the convention, you can easily do that, right? My next pick is the transition question, right? So now transition questions are the ones that you have to show the relationship between two sentences, and easily you can do these questions, solve these questions under 30 seconds as well. So let's look at a transition question. The number of dark spots that appear on the sun, known as sunspots, can vary greatly. For example, there were about 180 sunspots in November 2001. Blank, there were only 2 sunspots in December 2008. Which choice completes the text with the most logical transition? So it was a comparison between 2001 and 2008. It cannot be other words. Similarly, therefore it has to be by comparison because it is comparison between two years, right? So that is why option D will be your answer. So this can also be done. So at times, yes, they are relatively lengthy as well, but again, you can, if you try and if you practice, you can solve these questions under 30 seconds. So that is one of the ways to give extra time to the questions that are lengthy, that are longer, because if you try to solve those questions in 50 seconds that have a lot of reading, that have a lot of analysis, interpretation, processing of of information, obviously it's going to be difficult, and because it is going to be difficult, you'll end up losing time, and you won't be able to complete the paper in the given time. So in order to do that, you have to spot. I'll come up with some other question types as well that you can solve relatively in lesser amount of time, but these are the 3 questions that you can easily go on within 30 seconds, right? If you know the concept. Obviously if you don't know the concept, then it's going to be a problem, but considering you know the vocabulary, you know the grammar concepts, and you know how to build the relationship between 2 sentences, you can easily solve these questions within 30 seconds. It's not going to be a problem, right? So I hope you guys are practicing. You guys have to practice even hard if you're doing it right, and solve these questions within 30 seconds. Try to practice. If you're above 50 seconds, try to bring it in 40 seconds. Once you're there to 40 seconds, then try to bring it under 30 seconds. And once you do that, you'll save, these 3 questions combined will make up around easily 12 to 13 questions in the entire paper. So that would mean you can easily save around 300 to 400 seconds, and that you can divide into remaining 12-15 questions equally. So that will give you around 30 to 40 seconds per question to read and understand further, and that will get you good marks over there. So you'll solve this as well, and you'll get more time to solve those correctly as well. So that will be a dual bonus for you guys. So I hope this video helped you. I'll come up with more questions and more question types to help to keep discussing how we have to ace and excel the SAT. Thank you so much.